In our two previous YouTube presentations, we asked some questions about what is happening in our world. Why so many calamities and disasters? Why so much tumult and strife and wickedness? What or who is the prime mover in all this? Then we pinpointed the mastermind of all the trouble in our world. It was Lucifer who originated all the evil that has turned the universe into a cosmic battlefield. We ended our last episode with Lucifer and his angels being cast out of heaven. When the rebels landed on Earth, it was just a newly created planet populated by only 2 people. It happened before Adam and Eve even had their first child. Lucifer was determined to make this newly created planet a beachhead to establish an alternate government to the universal government of heaven. But that depended on wresting Adam and Eve from loyalty to their Creator and joining him in his rebellion. Adam and Eve had been given dominion over the earth, and if Lucifer could lead them to transfer their allegiance to him, their dominion would fall into his hands, and he would become the god of this world. We know what happened when Eve approached the forbidden tree of knowledge of good and evil. This tree was a simple test of their loyalty to God. Of all the lovely trees in the garden, God asked them not to eat of this one tree. But Lucifer, disguising himself as a serpent, began a dialogue with Eve when she inadvertently found herself near the tree and wondering why God had asked them not to eat of it. This was his opportunity. She was surprised to hear her thoughts taken up and repeated by a strange voice, which said, "Yea, has God said, 'You shall not eat of every tree of the garden'?" Eve was astonished to hear her queries repeated by a serpent. She really thought that the serpent must have had a knowledge of her thoughts, and therefore he must be very wise. She answered him, "We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, 'You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die.' But the serpent said to the woman, 'You will not surely die, for God does know that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be as gods, knowing good and evil.'" He told her God knew that if she and her husband should eat of the forbidden tree, their understanding would be enlightened, expanded, and ennobled, making them equal with God. Here Lucifer was presenting to Eve his own aspirations in heaven when he aspired to exalt his throne above the stars of God and to become like the Most High. He assured her that the fruit of this tree was desirable above every other tree in the garden to make them wise and to exalt them to a higher sphere of knowledge. He said that God has refused you the fruit of this tree because it is the most desirable to make you wise and equal with God. Eve ate of the fruit, and because she did not discern any adverse effects from it, but felt flushed with excitement, she hastened to find Adam with the forbidden fruit in her hand. She convinced him that the serpent had told the truth, and that the forbidden fruit was destined to make one wise like God. As a result, Adam also ate of the forbidden tree, and as a consequence, both came under the power of Lucifer and his evil angels. But this act of disobedience drastically affected their attitude and relationship with God. When they heard the voice of God walking in the garden, they hid themselves among the trees, instead of joyfully coming to meet him as they used to do. This was a tragic start to human existence in a newly created world. Our next 2 videos will elaborate further on this vital subject that needs to be understood in this end time, when the cosmic conflict will reach its climax. To access our previous videos and publications, visit our site at prophecyalert.org.